guys, so I'm going to be doing Zac Efron's chart. He was in a really amazing film recently, or last year, the Extremely Wicked film, and he was just so amazing in that. We'll see why in his chart. I've always thought he was a great actor though. So we'll start with his Capricorn ascendant. Capricorn is feminine by element, earth, with earth ascendants. They usually wait and observe and take in their environment before acting. Capricorn risings can also be very critical and calculating and cautious with their immediate environment until they feel comfortable enough and in control enough of their environment and themselves. So once their walls, or at least one of their walls, is broken down a little bit and they feel more comfortable, then you'll start to see a little bit more maybe of their sun sign or any other aspects aspecting the ascendant. In Zac's case, you'll start to see more of that Venus-Pluto conjunction in Scorpio, sextiling the ascendant, and also the moon trining the ascendant. So with these aspects, I feel like it's sort of, he comes across as promising a quite deep, passionate and tentative sort of relationship, and also in his career as well. People around him in his career maybe even see him like this. Capricorn ascendants are great with deadpan humour. They're really in control of their facial expression because they're so in control of their emotions typically that they're usually quite deadpan anyway. So they will definitely never laugh in the middle of a joke. They'll never ruin a joke like that unless they have a lot of Sagittarius energy. But yeah, I have seen him in some comedic roles as well, and he does quite well with those. So Capricorn is notoriously known for being tough, capable and rigid, putting up boundaries. It's really the opposite of Neptune, and Neptune he has close by the ascendant as well. So in the way that Neptune just doesn't have any boundaries, and they're so open and connected with their environment. So this will sort of soften those boundaries that a typical Capricorn rising would have, and make him more compassionate, easygoing, and maybe even someone that people can inject an ideal onto. But I think when you first think of Zac Efron, we do think of like that chiseled jaw, the very sort of harsh looking, very attractive, but just that stern, deadpan kind of look that he has. Looks like he should be in the military or something like that. That's Capricorn. So the fact that Neptune is also in the 12th house, it can make him actually quite sensitive to substances as well. You have to be quite careful with Neptune in the 12th close to the ascendant. With drugs, alcohol, anything like that, you can be very sensitive. And it's trining the moon as well, so yeah, it can make him really compassionate and understanding and empathic almost. I think he uses this sensitivity to tap into his emotions for his career, and it's such a great way to be able to channel that. Another way of channeling this kind of aspect is through music or art, or a health regime. I say that because the moon is in Virgo, which governs over health and fitness and nutrition. So that is a good way. I think he does take care of himself in that way. He really had that sort of transition where he went through a real health kick, and I think it's sort of been working for him quite well. Neptune's quite prominent in the chart or in its home house of the 12th. It can make you want to escape a little bit. Neptune, wherever it is, we like to sort of drift away into that realm of life. And we also find hidden talents in this 12th house as well. So he is an amazing portrayer of Neptune, of emotion, the moon trining that Neptune. So he is a great actor. He taps into that sensitivity for it. This aspect, I'm talking about the moon quite a bit because it's got that trine to Neptune, but also because it's intercepted. It's Virgo has no house. It doesn't rule any house in his chart. Same with Pisces, the opposite sign ruled by Neptune. So these themes are going to be quite important for him to channel correctly and use healthy methods of escaping, because this is really important. With his moon intercepted, it sort of feels maybe hard to express or out of place, or is quite difficult. The moon represents our emotional needs, our deepest needs. So with that Libra sun as well, that usually puts other people's needs before their own, and then that Virgo moon also kind of wanting to tidy up their emotions and think emotions are sort of messy and complicated, and they want to put them into some sort of order. Virgo are great at perfecting things and putting everything into order and lists, you know, organized. So it is a hard placement already for the moon, and then again, if that moon isn't expressed, it's going to affect his health, Virgo. So maybe he's already been through something like this and that's why he started his health kick. I'm not sure, but it's definitely going to be important. And I always love seeing a man with a nice aspect from moon to Venus. it really means they've got a nice soft sort of nurturing side to them as well, and it makes them be able to really understand and relate women easy as well. Also taking note that his chart ruler Saturn is in Sagittarius with no major aspects apart from a novile there to, where is that, Pluto. That's working well for him in his career. It's in the 10th house, so it's going to help him gain recognition and power and control in his career. Pluto is quite intense there in the 10th house. So I think he's quite likely to get more roles like the one he did with Ted Bundy in Extremely Wicked, because Pluto also rules over psychopaths, sociopaths, personal investigators, sort of dark, cunning and conniving characters as well. So we might see more roles or even more films that he's in like that. So we see this so much with actors. They really get the most recognition and fame for playing the roles or being in the films that display the same archetype as their 10th house or MC. The 10th house being what we're most known for by the public. So the Venus conjunct Pluto in Scorpio in the 10th house, it's that deep, forbidden, platonic, even abusive, just intense love. Scorpio Venus can also find it hard to let go of their partners. Like Cancer in a way, it's a bit different though, to even mean fear of abandonment issues. There's no other harsh aspects for him. He's got a nice sextile actually from the Moon and Neptune there to that. So he deals with this intensity in his relationships quite well and in a more sensitive manner even. This is when they can redate their exes or date friends that they've been friends with for a long time, or anyone that they have a close, deep bond with, because they really value loyalty and deep bonds. And so you have this with people that you are already familiar with. So with the Venus and Pluto, he not only needs, but he really values this sort of emotional depth and vulnerability and connection in his relationships. And he'll really value people that treat relationships in this way as well. So back to that letting go with the Venus and the Pluto. The highest expression of this archetype is understanding the natural cycle and necessity of letting go. So just as a tree lets go of the autumn leaves to make way for the new buds to come through in springtime, we can't hold on or try and keep or possess or keep hostage, which is what Hades, Pluto, did with Persephone. He kidnapped her. We can't do that with anything or anyone. So this cycle of death and rebirth is a natural law. It means we can't take anything with us when we die. Everything is temporary, even our nearest and dearest, our loved ones. This is probably one of the hardest lessons for Scorpio, Venus Pluto to learn. And I should know because I also have this aspect. Let's not forget about Zac Efron being that cute little boy next door. He was in High School Musical. So he was known for being very charming and funny and friendly and cool and kind. And so this is his Mars in Libra. Also his Sun in Libra as well. But that Mars in Libra is conjunct his South Node. South Node being the things that we're naturally good at doing. It sort of rules our upbringing, past lives, if you believe in that. But ultimately what he's moving away from to mature and grow and find purpose in his North Node, the opposite sign of Aries. So Mars in Libra, they're just studs in relationships. Everybody wants to date them. They're so cool and so stylish. His North Node in Aries there is saying, okay, you're good with other people, you're friendly, you're actually quite good partnering up with someone, but who are you when you're alone? What are your motivations and your desires and your needs? And how can you be more independent and look after yourself more? Put yourself before others. What is his purpose without anyone else being there? With his nodes and that Mars in a T-square with Neptune, I'm going to just say that that's not going to happen without its fair share of difficulties and projections and lies and unrealistic expectations and ideals and maybe even deception. He's truly going to be walking through that mist of Neptune to eventually find himself. His basic identity, his needs, his drive and his ambitions, what he wants to do through putting himself first and through a real tough journey of self-discovery. Back to Saturn in Sagittarius. So Saturn basically can teach us some tough lessons in the sign and house that it's in. Sagittarius needs to learn the balance of expansion and adventure, and rules and limitations and responsibility. This is also a big lesson for him with that Jupiter opposite his sun. So when is he going too far, too much with something? When is he overindulging? How much is he letting his ego run the show? Jupiter expands and inflates anything that it touches, really. So when it's opposite the sun, which is representing his ego and identity and self-expression, these are the people that sort of come across as a bit egotistical and inflated self-worth a little bit, with Jupiter in strong aspect to the sun. It may even become sort of destructive or toxic for him, as the dispositor for Saturn is Pluto, so in its own sign of Scorpio, that's quite strong. So this lesson will also induce sort of feelings of, where do you get your confidence from? What's that confidence actually built on? And Saturn is also wisdom through experience and hard work. He'll really learn this lesson of what true wisdom and confidence is. So when understood, these archetypes can really induce a wise teacher or even an expert in the field that they're in. So more on this Venus-Pluto conjunction in Scorpio. So his relationships can have this pattern of regeneration, rebirth, real emotional insight and depth, because the moon's involved there as well. He takes relationships really seriously, and he's looking for a long-term partner that he can share his deepest feelings and life experiences with. Conjunct Mercury as well, he also wants to communicate with people in this way, nothing too superficial. Mercury in Scorpio can have a very focused and detail, pattern orientated mind. Whatever they are mentally sort of passionate about, it really fuels their need to learn more in that subject in its entirety, completely, almost in an obsessive way. He would get annoyed with superficial conversations, even though he's got a Libra Mars and Sun. He can do this, he can do it for the sake of social grace, and making friends and keeping it nice, but he would get bored quickly. I would actually love to know more about his hobbies and what he's interested in and what he likes to study and research about, because I'm guessing it would be quite interesting with a Mercury in Scorpio. It may even just be that he likes those intense roles and he wants to play more of those roles where he's more of the baddie rather than the good guy, you know, which was his South Node, being the High School Musical. He wants to move away from that a little bit. I think he finds a lot more depth and meaning to playing something that's a little bit more intelligent and penetrating and insightful. So with the Libra Sun, his basic self-expression is very charming and very engaging and friendly, and he wants peace and diplomacy. He's very likable and loves to travel and learn as well. With a ninth house Sun, you're really interested in other cultures and people from other cultures and traveling and new experiences. The sun is where we shine. I always say that. This is where we shine in our life. This is why people say it's your destiny in a way. So where can we shine and really discover more about our personality and learn more about ourselves? Well, for him, it's through other people and other cultures and religion and philosophy. So the sun is in its full in Libra, unfortunately. So it's in its exalted sign in Aries, the opposite. So again, the lesson of needing to focus more on himself in a healthy way, in a positive way, and less on other people is present there. Libra Sun obviously will give him his good looks, not just charm. He's got very nice proportions, body, facial features. Libra gives good, well-proportioned body in that way, along with obviously genetics and looking after himself. But Libra Sun comes across very well presented. He has got Chiron in the 6th house of health, regime, day-to-day activities, work, illnesses. Maybe something did happen where he got a bit sick or something like that, and maybe even suddenly opposite Uranus, and then that Virgo moon had to really step in and say, we need to sort out our health. I'm not going to go into Chiron too much, I'm going to leave it there. But if you have any questions about his chart or about anything else, leave a like or comment and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.